Welcome to Thinking is Contagious. This is the wee morning hours after the first night of the Democratic virtual convention. And a few observations. I heard Donna Brazil, who is on Fox as an analyst, interject in one of her rants, senseless rants, that the Democrats were capitalists, driving home a point. The theme of the convention last night was Donald Trump is responsible for the pandemic. Bernie Sanders said Trump was negligent handling of the pandemic. Bernie Sanders was saying that it was time that the that all Americans be included in the economic recovery, and that all Americans be included in the growth of their personal wealth, not just the select few. I keep going back to what I've always said: tell the lie, tell a big lie, repeat it over and over and over. The facts are that under Donald Trump, the economy was booming before the Hong Kong flu. The fact is that unemployment rate among minorities was at a record level. The fact is that the wage disparity between genders was rapidly closing and is still rapidly closing under Donald Trump. The fact is that no matter how many lies the Democrats tell you, take the time and look at the facts. Study it yourself. They're asking you to vote. They're putting a smokescreen up, and they're trying to play on your emotions. Michelle Obama, in her speech, which I thought was absurd. This is the same Michelle Obama, let's not forget, that said that for the first time back in 2015, she said, "I'm proud of my country for the first time," because her husband was nominated for president to run for president of the United States. For the first time in my adult life. Okay. Michelle Obama, who went out and last night talked about things are going to get worse before they get better if Trump stays in office. That Trump has had plenty of time to do the job, and he's shown that he can't. That our lives depend, your lives depend on getting another president in there. People, this is desperation. They don't want you to look at the facts. They're tugging at your emotions. Michelle Obama is not an impressive person. Okay? All she is an agenda. She has a narrative that she's fulfilling. Bernie Sanders is not an impressive person. Speaking about not impressive people, let's go to Joe Biden. And here's my take on what's happening. He is, as Donald Trump aptly said, the Trojan horse. This is my opinion here, I see a man in failing health. And I see a party, not so much a party, I see a movement, a revolution that has seized the Democratic Party, saw the weakness in the Democratic Party. And these revolutionaries, no different than a Che Guevara and a Fidel Castro, these band of revolutionaries, I see that they saw an opportunity in a weak and feeble Democratic Party, a vehicle. You know these SPAC corporations now that are so popular in investment? Well, the Democratic Party is the SPAC, okay, is the SPAC corporation that will allow these revolutionaries to become mainstream, to become, quote unquote, publicly traded. That's the Democratic Party, the SPAC of the revolution. And what they've done is they've chosen a frail leader, and they've told him, who's in ill health, listen, here's your last hurrah. You've been 45 years. You have nothing to show for it. We're going to use you as the Trojan horse. We're going to use you as someone that everyone, America, will open their doors to. And then after you're in, they promised him that he's going to be viable, but he won't be. He's going to be shoved aside, and he's going to be made out to be what he truly is, which is frail, ill, and not capable mentally of handling the position. Once that is established, then out of the Trojan horse will come the revolutionaries, and they will attempt to seize control of this country. That's why the emphasis on the two houses, on the House, on the Senate and the Congress going Democrat is so important to them at this point. And it's important to the Republicans too, in defense of this Trojan horse. We're looking down the barrel of a loaded shotgun, and it is not a good scenario for America's capitalist system, for society as we know it, for what has made this country great. We need to study the situation carefully. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to take it as gospel. I'm just pleading with you to listen and look into it and see if it makes sense. Because to me, it is very clear that Joe Biden is the way in. But once they get what control, once this liberal agenda, this socialist, Marxist liberal agenda, and when Donna Brazil goes on TV and says we're capitalists, they're driving home a point. Remember, tell a lie, tell a big lie, repeat it over and over. We're capitalists. They're not capitalists. The socialist agenda is pending for decades. That has been an agenda to overthrow this country. And this is the golden opportunity that they see. The SPAC, the Democratic Party, once again, is the SPAC for the revolution. If you don't know what SPAC is, it's a corporation, a publicly traded company, a shell company that is bought into by a private company or private entity or a private enterprise in order to fast track the publicly traded, being able to be traded on the stock market, fast track that process, cost-wise, time-wise, and legitimize, so to speak. Not that a private company is not legitimate. I'm just saying as a matter of speech. So this is what this is. Don't be fooled by it. We need to fight it. We need to educate ourselves, and we need to vote for our future. We need to vote for our kids' futures. Believe me, you do not want your children and your grandchildren, listen to me, liberal and conservative, independent, Republican, Democrat. You do not want your children or your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren growing up under a system that has produced Fidel Castro, Cuba, Venezuela, Chavez, Maduro. If that's what you're striving for, then Joe Biden is your candidate, because he's not really the candidate. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by this non-threatening, frail man. Once the door is open, he will be thrown to the side. They will be the first ones to say that he's not competent. He will agree to it. He will step aside shortly. And in closing, I'm going to say one last thing. Michelle Obama, when she says that Donald Trump has had more than enough time, he's had 4 years. No matter, remember, you guys, your husband, his administration attempted to make sure he had no years. So don't be a phony now and say he's had enough time. If it was up to you, you would have had no time. Because as soon as he was elected, your party was hell-bent on getting him impeached, in overturning the mandate of the people, an election that was free and won by Donald Trump. Michelle Obama is, and I'm giving you my opinion here, a phony, self-serving, like her husband, who will go down in history as probably one of this country's top 3 worst presidents ever. Ever. The same way that he wants to take credit for Trump's economy 4 years after that he set the table, if you want credit for that, then the racial divide that exists in this country falls squarely on your lap, Barack Obama. The hunting down of police falls squarely in your lap, Barack Obama. The looting, the pillaging, and the burning falls directly on your lap, Barack Obama. Because if you want credit for 4 years ago and 8 years ago to carry forward to today on the good, the bad is yours too. And the bad is yours. And no one, remember this, no one has divided this country like you did. And that is an absolute that I will argue and discuss with anyone. The worst thing that has happened to this country for civil rights and equality was Barack Obama. Have a good day.